Last year, millions watched as the spiritual leader of a spiritual movement concluded a spiritual gathering. Exactly 1 year later, that convention is once again upon us. But over the past 12 months, the world has witnessed changes in the political, economic and religious worlds. But in all this, what has been the role of the international head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community? Join us as we give you a glimpse into the countless endeavours and round-the-clock schedules of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih during the past year.
खुदा का ये एहसान है हम पे भारी कि जिसने है
अस्सलाम वालेकुम रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातहू।
नारा तकबीर, नारा तकबीर, हज़रत मुहम्मद मुस्तफा।
We, of course, begin when Hazrat Khalifatul Masih departed Hadiqatul Mahdi from Jalsa Salana UK 2016. After providing spiritual nourishment for Ahmadis over the 3-day convention, one would think a break would be in order. But that is not the case with Hazrat Khalifatul Masih. From the very next day, the delegations that attended the UK Jalsa were blessed with the opportunity to meet with their leader and to give personal reports about the progress of the Jamaat in their countries.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Nadaul Salam. I am Sadat Qudam Malaysia.
Acha, mashallah.
Please pray for our Qudam Huzur. And
did you attend the meeting of Khudamul Ahmadiyya here?
Yes.
And did you learn something or you taught something?
Yeah, I learned something and I also expressed my opinion there.
Acha.
This is an opportune moment for guidance, instructions and requests for prayers.
Last night, our country fell victim to a brutal terrorist attack once again.
Due to political instability in many parts of the world, unfortunately, over the past year, Europe alone has witnessed over a dozen terrorist attacks in the name of Islam. Paris, Stockholm, London, Berlin, Brussels, Manchester. As representatives of Islam and as patriotic citizens of the country, the Ahmadiyya movement is grieved by such attacks and condemns the atrocities. But the true and peaceful teaching of Islam is always brought before the media.
And when we heard these attacks taking place, we thought that we really need to reach out to people and tell them that this is not Islam. At this moment in time, Muslim communities, other communities, they need to come together in solidarity. And that's why we're here. We're telling people that true Islam is a message of peace, kindness and tolerance.
The driving force has always been Hazrat Amir al-Mu'mineen.
ये यूरोप में जो वाक़यात हो रहे हैं, इस्लाम के नाम पर अफराद या तंजीमें कर रही हैं, या यहाँ लंदन में 2 दिन पहले ज़ालिमाना तौर पर मासूमों को कत्ल किया गया, राह चलते राहगीरों पर कार चढ़ा दी, एक पुलिस वाले को कत्ल किया, तो ये इसी वजह से है कि इन नाम नहाद उलमा ने लोगों की गलत रहनुमाई करके उनके दिलों में बजाय इस्लाम की खूबसूरत तालीम डालने के जुल्म और बर्बरियत के ख़यालात पैदा कर दिए हैं.
On behalf of the community, Hazur always condemns such attacks, answers allegations and proves the peaceful and loving teaching of Islam in a manner that leaves people more aware of the true Islam.
गुज़श्ता दिनों यहाँ यूके में मैनचेस्टर में वाक़या हुआ और बिला वजह 22-23 लोगों का कत्ल कर दिया गया, जिसमें मासूम बच्चे भी शामिल थे. ये इंतहाई ज़ालिमाना फ़ेल है और किसी भी सूरत में ये इस्लाम की तालीम की तरफ मंसूब नहीं किया जा सकता.
On one hand, a handful of Muslims are trying to tarnish the name of Islam, and on the other, the head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community is on a mission to protect that very name and teaching. One such effort is the National Peace Symposium, which is one of the highlight events in the Jamaat's calendar. This year, over 600 external guests comprising of government ministers, ambassadors of state, members of parliament and various other dignitaries were invited.
Well, after the very tragic events on Wednesday, where we saw a number of people killed in a terrorist attack, I think it's really important that communities show an open, tolerant, united approach. I think this is what this particular event is about. It's a peace symposium that the Ahmadi Muslim community organise every year, bringing people together of a whole range of different faiths and no faith to talk about some of the critical issues, so the global threats that we're facing, and really just showing that we can work together, whatever community we come from. So I'm really pleased that this event takes place.
Certainly very international, and I came with a very open mind, and it was nice to see so many people from different countries. And I think that the message that has been delivered really clearly here is that the Muslim faith is that of extreme peace, and that's just, you know, what it should be for all good faiths, and it's made me feel much more warm towards your community.
The keynote address delivered by Hazrat Khalifatul Masih is always the hallmark of such events, in which many new faces express their appreciation of the understanding Hazur possesses of Islam.
First of all, I would like to extend my deepest condolences to all those affected by Wednesday's terror attack at Westminster. Our thoughts and prayers are with the people of London at this tragic time. On behalf of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, I wish to make it categorically clear that we condemn all such acts of terrorism, and we offer our heartfelt sympathies to the victims of this barbaric atrocity.
नबूवत के हाथों जो पौधा लगा है खिलाफत के साए.
It was very encouraging, and I had no idea that your organization personally is this organization. I've heard that, you know, Islam is a state of peace and harmony in the distance, but everything that's coming out in the news media and everything in the world, it doesn't seem like it's relevant. But he is a man, a very humble man, so much peace in him. He was very assuring to say who he is and what he believes and what your organization believes. I think that's very important. I think this is a message that needs to get out, that people would know how the true religion of Muslims is and what they believe and what they're doing in the world, in Canada and all over the world.
The promised Messiah ﷺ stated that if one wishes to see Islam spread in an area, then a mosque should be built there. Therefore, year after year, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih inaugurates mosques all over the world. This year was no different. At every opening of a mosque, Hazur emphasizes that mosques stand as an abode for peace.
ये जगह जो एक ज़माने में मार्केट थी, आज उसको मस्जिद में कन्वर्ट कर दिया गया। कि एक मार्केट थी जहाँ लोग आते थे, मादी चीज़ें ख़रीदते थे। अब ये जगह मस्जिद में तब्दील कर दी गई है, ताकि यहाँ वो लोग आएँ जो रूहानी चीज़ ख़रीदने वाले हों, अल्लाह ताला की इबादत करने वाले हों, अल्लाह ताला का पैगाम सुनने वाले हों, और फिर अल्लाह ताला की मखलूक की खिदमत करने के लिए मंसूबाबंदी करने वाले हों.
Bait al-Afiyat holds special importance, as this was the halfway mark to the 100 mosque target given to the Germany Jamaat by Hazrat Khalifatul Masih. Naturally, the media wishes to find out what the community planned to do with so many mosques and what the plan was for the future.
Your Holiness, there's a plan to build 100 mosques in Germany in a certain time. We just opened, I think, the 51st mosque here in Germany. So what is your wish for the future? How shall things develop here in Germany?
You see, as the community membership of the community is growing, we need mosques. We need some place where they can gather together to worship one and omnipotent God, to make some other programs with regards to their religious duties, and also some other programs for humanitarian work. So this is not only that 100 mosque is our final target. It is quite possible as the community grows, build more than 100 mosques, or even in small towns and villages and cities, wherever we have our community, we build more mosques. So mosque is the place you need. And every religious community needs it, their place of worship, as Christians need churches, Jews need synagogues and other temples and so on and so forth. So the same way, we need mosques. And our mosques are the true symbol of, to show the people that how can we practice the true religion, how can we get closer to our Creator, and how can we discharge our duties we owe to our fellow beings.
खुदा की ये सुन्नत अज़ल से है जारी रहेगा खिलाफत.
The religion we practice is unique. It is the unequivocal reflection of Islam in its early days. Hence, wherever the community exists, it has always been given media coverage. But when the head of the community visits countries abroad, the media attention there is on a completely different scale.
An incredible sight in Bonn this afternoon as a Muslim spiritual leader arrived to begin
represents
a
is small in terms of Islam, but extremely academic and full of missionary zeal. Something that doesn't always go over well with fellow Muslims. Here's my conversation with the Caliph.
During his tours, Huzur is surrounded by national and international media. TV and radio stations, print media and social media outlets are always in line to talk to who they revere as a global figure. Huzur's daily schedule will be packed with interviews and meetings. Hours upon hours of interviews, meetings and speeches, all for one purpose: the propagation of the true teachings of Islam. A prominent interview which was relayed nationally and watched by millions worldwide was conducted by Peter Mansbridge of CBC.
There was an enthusiastic interest among all media outlets. Among them, indeed, was the largest broadcaster in the country, CBC, and CBC News chief correspondent Peter Mansbridge. What was particularly unique is this most accomplished journalist in the country is also retiring this year.
With such a huge viewership, it was a blessing of Allah that Huzur's message of the true Islam reached millions around the world.
खुदा का है वादा खिलाफत रहेगी ये नेमत तुम्हें.
One question that Huzur is usually asked is why Huzur embarks on such tours. Huzur's answers always suggest that the primary reason for tours is always to visit the members of the community.
So normally when I visit any town or city, they're either to open the mosque or to see my people. You see, it's a two-way traffic. People love their spiritual leader and the Khalifa love their people. So this is why I'm here.
This year, Huzur's 6-week tour of Canada is a story in itself.
खिलाफत क्या है एक फजले अजीम रब रहमा है सरासर नूर और रहमत इल्म और हिकमत का गुलिस्ता है खिलाफत क्या है एक फजले अजीम रब रहमा है सरासर नूर और रहमत इल्म और हिकमत का गुलिस्ता है खिलाफत क्या है एक फजले عظیم رب رحمہ ہے سراسر نور و رحمت علم و حکمت کا گلستہ ہے خلافت کیا ہے ایک فضل عظیم رب رحمہ ہے خلافت حرز جان و نور عین ہر مسلمان ہے
خلافت پاس بانے امت فخر رسولہ ہے
خلافت جلوہ قدرت ثانی کی حامل ہے
خلافت نصرت و تائید ربانی کی حامل ہے
خلافت درس گاہ علم عرفان الہی ہے خلافت اس زمین پر آسمانی بادشاہی ہے خلافت اس زمین پر آسمانی بادشاہی ہے.
Apart from media coverage, world leaders, dignitaries, politicians and influential personalities relish the arrival of the head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. Hazur frequently receives invitations to countries to impart guidance and wisdom through his speeches. A highlight of the Canada tour was the invitation to the Canadian Parliament.
Of His Holiness Mirza Masroor Ahmad, head of the worldwide Ahmadiyya Muslim community.
Another world stage of the many, graced by Hazrat Khalifatul Masih.
Pleasure to welcome His Holiness Jawadullah. The last time we met was a number of years ago, and I didn't yet occupy this office, but we had wonderful conversations, as we will this time, about the Ahmadi community and the challenges they face and the opportunities to work together on promoting love for all and hikmat for none.
Thank you. ان کے گھروں کا آپ محافظ ہو اے خدا تیرے سپرد کر کے یہ کاشان آ گئے تیرے سپرد کر کے یہ کاشان آ گئے اے شمع دیکھ پھر تیرے پروان آ گئے بندھن تمام توڑ کے دیوان آ گئے.
Germany is a nation that has experienced the blessings of Khilafat over the years. This year, on two separate occasions, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih graced the land of Germany. On both visits, Hazur inaugurated mosques across the country. Not only this, but throughout the 3 days and the days surrounding them, Hazur personally met hundreds of families, students, Waqf-e-Nau, and many people with the desire to meet Hazur. The annual convention of the Germany Jamaat is one of great importance due to the presence of Khilafat. This year was no different. Hazur addressed the participants at all 3 days of the convention.
Allah Ta'ala ke fazl se آج سے 3 دن کے لیے جماعت احمدیہ جرمنی کو اپنا جلسہ سالانہ منعقد کرنے کی توفیق مل رہی ہے اور جمعے کے ساتھ ہی جلسہ سالانہ کا آغاز ہو رہا ہے. افراد جماعت کی اصلاح کے لیے جلسہ سالانہ کے انعقاد کی بنیاد جو اللہ تعالیٰ کے حکم سے حضرت مسیح موعود علیہ السلام نے ڈالی تھی اس پہلے جلسے کو اس سال 125 سال پورے ہونے والے ہیں. وہ جلسہ جو قادیان کی چھوٹی سی بستی میں ہوا تھا اور مسجد کے ایک حصے میں 75 افراد نے اپنے اندر پاک تبدیلیاں پیدا کرنے اور دنیا کی اصلاح اور اسلام کے پیغام کو حضرت مسیح موعود علیہ السلام کے مددگار بنتے ہوئے دنیا میں پھیلانے کا جو عہد کیا تھا، اس کا نتیجہ ہم آج دیکھ رہے ہیں کہ اللہ تعالیٰ نے ان کے کام اور ان کی نیتوں میں ایسی برکت ڈالی کہ آج یہاں جرمنی میں جماعت احمدیہ یہاں کے بڑے بڑے میسر حالوں اور کمپلیکس میں سے ایک مکمل کمپلیکس جو وسیع رقبے پر پھیلا ہوا ہے، اس میں اپنا جلسہ منعقد کر رہی ہے.
With so many conventions taking place across the globe, it is impossible for one man to be in so many places at once. But the blessings of MTA International has made this a reality. One such is the convention that takes place in the home of the Messiah, Qadian. A live two-way link enables the participants of this blessed Jalsa to listen and interact with their beloved leader as his voice echoes throughout the village of Qadian and the entire world.
محبت کے جذبے وفا کا کرینہ اخوت کی نعمت ترقی کا زینہ.
Being the successor of a prophet of God, the foremost mission of Huzur is the spiritual training of the community. Apart from the weekly Friday sermons, the youth, both boys and girls of the community, are fortunate to have sittings with their leader and seek direction in their lives. Such meetings and classes follow Huzur wherever he travels around the world.
میرا سوال ہے کہ قرآن شریف میں اور حدیثوں میں امی کو زیادہ امپورٹنس دی گیا ہے ابو سے، یہ کیوں ہے؟
اس لیے کہ آنسر سے کسی نے پوچھا تھا کہ میں جیسے میرے لیے سب سے زیادہ کس کی میں عزت کروں، رسپیکٹ کروں. انہوں نے کہا اپنی ماں کی، انہوں نے کہا پھر اپنی ماں کی، پھر اپنی ماں کی، پھر اپنی ماں کی، پھر چوتھی دفعہ کہا اپنے باپ کی. وہ پچھلے دنوں میں واٹس ایپ پہ ایک بھیجا ہوا تھا لطیفہ کسی نے کہ ایک بچہ لکھا ہوا تھا وین کڈ از سک، تو وہ کڈ کی تصویر بنی ہوئی تھی، بچے کی بستر پہ لیٹا ہوا ہے، اوپر بلینکٹ لیا ہوا ہے اور ہوا چیخیں مار رہا ہے، رو رہا ہے، سائڈ پہ فیڈر بھی پڑا ہوا ہے. ہاں پھر لکھا ہوا تھا آگے وین فادر از سک، ہیں تو فادر بھی لیٹا ہوا ہے، سویا ہوا ہے، خراٹے لے رہا ہے، ہیں کمبل ڈالا ہوا ہے، ٹھیک. اور پھر دیکھا ہے وین مدر از سک، ہیں تو آگے لکھا ہوا وین مدر از سک، تو مدر بھی اسی طرح سک ہے، لیکن کیا ہو رہا ہے کہ مدر نے ایک چھوٹا بچہ گود میں اٹھایا ہوا ہے، ہیں ایک بچہ اس کے کندھے پہ بیٹھ کے کسی نے باہر سے ڈاگ کو چھیڑا، کتے کو چھیڑا، وہ کتا اس کے پیچھے پڑا تو بچہ اٹھ کے اس کے اوپر چڑھ گیا. ہیں ایک بچہ روتا ہوا، اس نے اسے ٹانگ پکڑی ہوئی ہے ماں کی، ہیں اور ایک ہاتھ میں ہوور ہے، وہ گھر کی صفائی کر رہی ہے، ہیں وہ گھر کی صفائی کر رہی ہے، ہیں تو دیکھو اتنے کام کرتی ہے ماں، پھر کہتے ہیں امپورٹنس نہ ہو، اس لیے امپورٹنس دی ہے.
ٹھیک ہے.
This spiritual and moral training extends to a larger scale with the ijtamaat of the auxiliary organizations, Lajna, Nasrat, Ansar, Atfal and Khuddam. All have the opportunity to receive guidance by their leader, both by him attending the ijtamaat or by auxiliary organizations travelling to visit Huzur in London. This is the best means of developing a personal link with Khilafat, which is, in truth, the need of the hour.
Seated in front of me are several Waqf-e-Nau who are now mothers themselves. But there are also working in various professions. So you are mothers, and at the same time you are working in various professions. And so, I would again remind them that they must divide their time in a way that the moral training and well-being of their children never suffers. There are also many young women present who are now engaged to be married, or rather I should say there are young girls present here now engaged to be married, and so inshallah their family lives will soon begin and they should enter the next stage of their life, knowing that their first priority is to train their children. If you fulfill this primary duty, it will not only benefit you and your family, but your efforts will also prove to be a source of pride and benefit to your nation.
इलाही हमें तू फरासत अता कर खिलाफत से गहरी.
As the future standard bearers of the community, great emphasis is laid on the Jamia students all over the world. This is conducted in 3 ways. Firstly, the Jamia classes graced by Hazur gives the students opportunity to receive special guidance and receive a spiritual charge.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम. मेरा सवाल था कि हुजूर अल्लाह ताला के साथ पुख्ता ताल्लुक़ कैसे पैदा कर सकते हैं?
तुम 5 नमाज़ें पढ़ते हो ना, बस पहले तो अल्लाह ताला ने यही कहा है कि 5 नमाज़ें फ़र्ज़ हैं तुम्हें पढ़ो. ठीक है, अल्लाह ताला पे ईमान कामिल करो, 5 नमाज़ें पढ़ो और उन नमाज़ों को ज़रा गौर से पढ़ा करो, फिर अपने तौर पे ज़िक्र भी करते रहा करो. ठीक है, ऐसा ओवरनाइट तुम वलीला नहीं बन सकते, इसके लिए कोशिश करनी पड़ती है. अल्लाह ताला ने यही कहा है मेरे रास्ते में आने के लिए जिहाद करना पड़ेगा. पहले जिहाद करो. जिहाद क्या है? एक मुसलसल कोशिश. वो मुसलसल कोशिश करते रहोगे तो फिर हो जाएगा.
Secondly, a wider form of training is taking place with the convocations. The graduates of Jamia Ahmadiyya Germany, UK and Canada were blessed to be presented their degrees and to be reminded of their foremost duties.
आपका सबसे बड़ा मकसद तौहीद का क़याम है. हज़रत मसीह मौऊद अलैहिस्सलाम इस ज़माने में आए हैं तो इसी मकसद के लिए आए कि तौहीद का क़याम हो और बंदे का खुदा ताला से ताल्लुक़ पैदा हो. ये एक बहुत बड़ा मकसद है. और दूसरा मकसद इंसान के आपस के हकूक़ हैं, उनकी तरफ तवज्जो दिलाना. अगर खुदा ताला का खौफ दिल में हो, अगर अल्लाह ताला से ताल्लुक़ हो, तो तभी आप तौहीद के क़याम के लिए हकीकी कोशिश कर सकते हैं.
Finally, the most direct and effective form of training is the one-to-one mulaqat with Khalifatul Masih. Every day, 3 students from Jamia UK meet their beloved leader. In return, their imam gives them his valuable time and attention, all so that they may impart the blessings of God to far distant places. The UK Jamia has been blessed with this priceless gift that strengthens the relationship with their leader. But students of Jamiat around the world come to visit Hazur in order to gain true inspiration and a purpose in life.
खुदा का ये एहसान है हम पे भारी कि जिसने है अपनी.
One must think, how can one man keep a relationship of love with hundreds of thousands of followers? Apart from the thousands of letters received from across the globe, another unique form of creating this relationship is the mulaqats. Every day, many families are blessed with the honor of having a private audience with Hazur. Usually 20 to 30 families come to meet Hazur daily, and a few good hours of a busy schedule are spent on this. But during Jalsa days, the influx doubles, sometimes trebles. We met with a few lucky people that had this golden opportunity.
Hazur was asking me and the children lots of questions and, then giving advice again, as always. When I came here, my desire was how I would go to Rabwa to meet with the Khalifa. Then Allah brought Khilafat here. So now, for me to go to Ghana and stay in Ghana, it will be difficult. Unless I know that I can come here regularly to meet with Huzur, it will be difficult for me to say I want to go to Ghana and stay there permanently.
Alhamdulillah, I feel extremely blessed that Huzur has given me guidance on personal aspects of my own life as well. So I've just come out of my mulaqat feeling extremely happy and blessed. Coming out of the mulaqat, I do feel extremely motivated and blessed. And I feel like this motivation and excitement that I have just coming out of this short meeting with such a blessed person will really drive me towards developing a relationship, making sure I never forget to remember Huzur in my prayers, to always remember to write to him.
नबूवत के हाथों जो पौधा लगा है खिलाफत के साए.
Ahmadi Muslims believe, rightly so, that their leader has been chosen by God Almighty. As such, with the guidance of Allah, he has the foresight that surpasses any ordinary human being. Hence, office bearers are provided the opportunity of an audience with Huzur to receive direct guidance, instructions and prayers regarding administrative projects.
By the grace of Allah, over the past 13 or 14 years, the IAAE European chapter has done some excellent work.
The community's progression in countless platforms requires the insight of a special leader.
और हमारा ईमान है कि आज के ज़माने में MTA वो सीढ़ी है जिस पर चढ़कर इस्लाम के असल नूर तक रसाई हासिल की जा सकती है.
This year, MTA International surpassed the 25-year mark. Hazrat Khalifatul Masih was invited to address the volunteers and staff and remind them of their duties.
As the sun sets on the first quarter century of the blessed institution, I pray that MTA continues to progress and further its objective to reach the corners of the earth and to make all the people of the world know of Islam's true teachings. It is our obligation to tell others that this world is not something superficial or a place for meaningless amusement, but that we all have a higher purpose, which is to recognize our Creator and to fulfill the rights of His creation.
खुदा की ये सुन्नत अज़ल से है जारी रहेगा खिलाफ.
This was only but a glimpse into the schedule of this global figure. No documentary nor any book can begin to do justice to the efforts of this one man. We have shown you only what was on the surface. His sleepless nights and fervent prayers is something which must not be overlooked. It is our duty to always remember him in our special prayers. May Allah be his helper.
खिलाफत क्या है एक फज़ले अज़ीम रब रहमा है सरासर